This program contains true stories of rescues. All of the 911 calls you will hear are real. Whenever possible, the actual people involved have helped us reconstruct the events as they happened.
That warning at any minute of the day. I'm William Shatner. Tonight, true stories of ordinary people confronting extraordinary challenges on Rescue 911. We begin on the afternoon of February 14th, 1991 in Mount Shasta, California. 14-year-old Shanti Spahn and her close friend Chrissy had decided to cut school to go hiking in Box Canyon, a scenic but rugged area nearby.
Box Canyon is vertical walls of up to 100 feet and more. It's a very dangerous place.
Me and Chrissy left school and found this trail and decided that we'd try to get to the bottom. There was a nice little river. We could just go sit there and just talk.
Chrissy, I don't know how to do this. Come on.
We kept walking, and it seemed like a long time. And we didn't have any problems until we got to this area where there's just really big rocks, and there's nowhere else to go.
I don't know about this.
Chrissy was trying to go to another rock, and when she went to get to the rock, she kind of jumped.
Chrissy, don't do this.
The whole time, I was calling her name to make sure she could hear me. I just kept yelling for her. And then she started calling my name out.
Chrissy, I'll be there. I'm almost there, Chrissy. Chrissy! Chrissy!
And she kept saying, I'm scared. What happened?
I'm gonna go get somebody
You know,
help.
she was bleeding in the back of her head.
Okay.
I was bleeding really bad. So I just kept saying, I'm going to go get some help. And she didn't want me to leave.
Okay, you're gonna be okay. I want to go get somebody else.
And so I took off my necklace.
I'm just gonna remember.
And I said, okay, keep looking at the heart.
Okay?
You'll be okay. And I'll be right back.
When we continue.
It's a pretty mean canyon. I knew it was going to be a serious situation to try to get somebody back up out of there that had...
When 17-year-old Chrissy fell 100 feet down a sheer rock wall, 14-year-old Shanti had to find help. She was the only one who knew where her friend lay injured at the bottom of treacherous Box Canyon.
Help! Help! Someone! Help! Hey, guys!
Gus Oros and his friend were relaxing at a nearby lake.
Girl came running across the road, screaming frantically. She was all dirty and she looked really scared. And she'd said my friend had fallen into the canyon.
She fell off the cliff over there.
You know, we just jumped up without any hesitance and followed her, you know, to where she was going.
911 emergency. It's an emergency. I don't know how old she is, but a girl dam and the road that goes across the bridge itself. Where is she from there?
She's on the north side of the dam, down the road on the left.
She's on the north side of the dam.
Yes.
Rescue workers were immediately dispatched to the scene. Shanti stayed at the top of the canyon to show the rescuers where Chrissy had fallen.
There was like silence there for about 5 minutes. It felt like a really long time. You know, just like a lonely feeling. It's like being the only two people on the earth.
Anyone? 2823, I'll need a vertical rescue team to respond to Box Canyon Dam. We have a woman...
Phil Sousa, an 18-year member of the Mount Shasta Volunteer Fire Department, was at work when word of the accident came over his pager.
It's a pretty mean canyon, and I knew it was going to be a serious situation to try to get somebody back up out of there that had fallen.
Within 5 minutes of the call, a unit trained in mountain rescue arrived at the rim of the canyon, led by Fire Chief Joe Spini.
I started coordinating a vertical rescue. They're working in an area where it's an unstable situation. It appeared to be about a 100-foot drop. I was concerned for the safety of the firefighters.
At the scene, paramedic Angelo Banos examined Chrissy.
I was concerned that she might have a spinal injury also, and the wrong move at any time could sever the spinal cord and cause paralysis.
Chrissy?
I'd requested a helicopter be dispatched to give us another option.
One of my volunteers, Warren Brooks, came up and approached me and said, "Joe, we think that's Phil's daughter." I wasn't sure how Phil was going to react, because if it was his daughter, it was going to be a traumatic situation.
I went to the fire chief to find out what he wanted me to do. That's when the chief hollered at me where was I going and to wait a minute, and that's when he came up. And he grabbed me by the arm and said, "Phil, we think it's your daughter."
Phil has been in the fire department for a long time, but when it involves one of your own children, it's a different situation.
All of a sudden, having to tell you that we think it's your kid in one of the worst situations that you've witnessed in the 18 years that I've been in the department. It's a real scary situation.
Hang on, all right, listen.
And I told him, I said, "Joe, I have to go down there. I don't know if I'll make it, but I gotta go down."
Concerned that his wife Jan was at home listening to the police scanner, Phil sent a friend to tell her what had happened.
What's happening?
Sit down.
And when he said, sit down, this call you're listening to, we think it's Chrissy in the canyon, it almost was unbelievable. I almost couldn't picture it. Part of me kept saying, no, it can't be. She's at school. It's like I denied that it really was her, I think.
I just couldn't imagine the condition she could have been in.
The Mercy Hospital air ambulance arrived within 25 minutes, piloted by Bruce Rickey.
Extremely dangerous in a vertical rescue situation where they would have to use ropes and a litter to bring her up a rock face. Dangerous to not only the victim in the litter, but to the rescuers that are performing that.
It's amazing that your mind sort of goes into fast forward and you're thinking 1,000 things all at once. And I had to sit down. I thought I might be saying goodbye to my daughter that day.
Once we got down into the bottom of the canyon, actually see her. We made eye contact. Well, she just immediately started crying. She was saying, "Dad, I'm sorry." I didn't expect to see her, all her arms and legs intact. After coming off of that wall like that, it was a relief to see her in one piece.
We orbited for 2 or 3 minutes, and in that time I saw an area in the bottom of the river that looked like maybe I could land.
I thought it was impossible to land a helicopter in that area. He could get in trouble going down. One of the blades could hit the left or the right side of the edges, and then you could have a crash, and you have firefighters at the bottom that would be involved in the same area of the crash.
In a situation like that, the crew becomes real critical to the pilot. 6 pair of eyes work a lot better than 2. So they know now that they're not medical right then, they're flight crew.
When you take 6 or 7 people trying to carry an individual in a Stokes like that, if you haven't experienced it, it's a rough chore. When we finally got her loaded into the helicopter, it was just a real relief to me at that time, figuring that I did the best job I could do. Now she's in somebody else's hands.
I felt this giant weight of relief when she was carried off. That was a very stirring thing to see them do this miracle for my daughter. I'm not real religious, but I felt almost as if angels had come and carried her off.
Chrissy Souza was treated for a fractured skull, broken leg, and numerous cuts and bruises. But miraculously, there was no spinal injury. 5 months later, she has completely recovered.
After that fall and everything, I never thought that I would come out of it.
Yeah. What part are you going to?
I guess I figured maybe I'd be in a wheelchair or somehow severely damaged. Just at the moment of falling, you don't think about even surviving it, I guess. I thought it changed our friendship at first, but we had like this bond type thing where, I mean, everyone knew and you could just like see, kind of tell that we had shared something that you just can't forget.
Here.
I think it's a miracle that she even came up out of the canyon.
I feel reassured that the world is a pretty special place, that people really are basically very wonderful to you in your time of need. I'm real glad that my dad went down there. It's got to be real difficult for him. And I'm sorry that he had to go through that, but I'm real glad that he helped me out, you know.
But a situation like this really makes you feel how precious life is and how much more time you'd like to spend with them. It could have been a real disaster.
Thank you.